actually supposed to be there till 5 o'clock, but Teeny said she didn't need all that time. Okay, I guess after Jane Doe went in on her, she was like, let me just make this real short and keep it cute. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to give you all some more of the updates, but before I do, I have my friend Sylvia here. Okay, she's one of the journalists, and I want her to let you all know what she thinks about the case thus far and about what she's heard. Go ahead,
I'm a YouTuber. I'm a content creator.
Well, she's wearing a press badge. That's all I'm trying to say.
No, she called me out. Hey guys, I am infamous Sylvia. You can ask me some questions.
Okay, so what do you think about today's testimony, and especially what do you think about Jane Doe as Teeny is asking her about these text messages and all this stuff? It seemed like she was maybe complicit, do you think, or do you think she was brainwashed? How do you feel about it?
Complicit is the perfect word.
Thank you.
Perfect word, complicit, because it was like she's getting something out of it. And remember, she was 30 years old when she got involved into this, right? It wasn't like she was a young teenager that's been like bamboozled and groomed or anything like that. This woman, she went into this with an agreement, and they had a contract, guys, a love contract, meaning you do, I do. And that's a contract. We both agreed upon it, right?
That's right.
Now, since the contract has been broken, why is he still paying her rent?
She's paying for her lawyers.
Paying for her lawyers. And she got testy with the attorney today, y'all. When she got testy with the attorney, you guys should have seen the jurors' faces.
Yeah, they didn't like it.
They were like,
everybody gasped.
She was like,
Now, so do you think that they're proving the RICO on Diddy?
I'm
still on the fence?
I'm still on the fence with the RICO. Now, as far as some other things, like the
coercion?
Coercion?
Robbery?
Robbery? No, the other one. The S word.
Oh, the S. Yeah. Okay.
The S word. I don't know if you can say it on here, but the S word. You know that,
okay, gotcha.
The one that pum, that word. That word.
Okay.
Now, that one I could see.
Okay. Well, I agree with you.
I could see.
Right.
You know, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sylvia. Come on, beloved. Come over here and tell us what you think. I'm getting a couple of people in here so you all can get other perspectives other than mine. Okay, because sometimes I like the Queen has to say, but go ahead, beloved. Now, what do you think about today's testimony thus far?
Well, I was expecting a little bit more when it came to the cross. Honestly, the way that the defense has been handling all of their cross examinations, I was really expecting them to get a lot more out of Jane. So I was a little bit, I guess, disappointed in the cross. And but I guess they have a strategy, or they're aiming for something. They did bring out a couple of things, but I felt as if when it comes to the actual like RICO and the trafficking and all of that stuff, I thought they would have tried to at least unearth some of those bones when it came to that specifically.
Okay, so you feel like it fell short?
It fell short today. It fell short, and I think especially after such a strong cross by Westmoreland, and what happened is I think that between Westmoreland, which was excellent, and I think even the judge gave her a little bit of gave her a little flowers today. But also with the cross examination from Brian Steele, I feel like they tried to pull back a bit because they were concerned about the way the jury would receive it. So I think that they are trying to play the long game.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. Well, thank you for loving it.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a beautiful one.
Okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
All right,
See you tomorrow.
have a good day.
Okay.
All right, so with that all being said, let's get into it now. I'm going to give you all the fat and the skinny before I get up out of here for today. Now, there's a lot of noise on the streets. All right, see you all tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to give you all the information before, they run me up out of here. As you can hear all the noise in the background, they're doing construction, so it's kind of noisy. Now, with that all being said, so let's talk about it, because here's the thing. Hold on. So Jane was talking about her positive messages about the hotel night, saying that they were meant to ensure that Diddy didn't feel rejected. Now, everything that she's saying, basically, she's saying that this was for She didn't want Diddy to feel judged. She didn't want him to feel rejected, like it was all about him, more so than her own self. Okay, she and the defense attorney, Tina Garagos, reviewed more of the sexually explicit text messages, as I told you. And these were from 2021, in which Jane appeared to engage positively with Sean, or with Combs. She calls him Sean, or with Diddy. And so about those hotel nights and watching the footage together. Now, in one text exchange, she basically told him, and this is what makes me really say that she was absolutely complicit, okay, because in one text exchange, she basically says that, oh, you know, I really want you to come over. I wish you were here. I wish we were together and we could watch some of our videos on TV. We could watch ourselves on TV and just lay here and relax. So you're saying you didn't want to do these things. You're saying that he basically tricked you into doing it or persuaded you, talked you into it, but yet you're saying, let's watch it on TV, watch ourselves on TV. Now, when she said that, when Tini was reading the text messages and asking her about that, right, she says, well, I said that because I knew that's what he wanted, because I knew that's what he liked. She was blaming everything on Diddy, is my thing. Now, at the end of the day, listen, Diddy is low down and dirty and clearly a scoundrel in my opinion. Okay, I got no love for him. But the bottom line is she's a grown woman. She was able to make her own choices and decisions. Okay, there's text messages where Diddy was telling her, neither one of us don't have to do anything. We don't have to do this. We can do something else. He was giving her an out. He was not forcing her to do these things. He probably was suggesting it, yes, because he's a freak. Okay, and if you're gonna let him turn you into a freak or let him pull the freak out of you, then that's what he's gonna do. But isn't that what most men do? Okay, please pay attention. So with that all being said, so in other messages that we all saw, Diddy told Jane they could be alone without an entertainer. Okay, basically, so we don't have to get an entertainer. We can just be here by ourselves. And they didn't have to do any Molly either. Okay, because remember, she's trying to act like he was always making her do these illegal substances and trying to make her do these things or whatever. But he told her in one of the exchanges, we don't have to do that. We don't have to have an entertainer come over here, and we don't have to do any Molly. Okay, Jane responded that she would believe it when she saw it. She's like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Okay, she also wrote in that same exchange that she knows that Diddy likes the hotel nights and said that she didn't mind them. She said, I'm okay with it. I don't mind them. So I'm sorry, that sounds like you're complicit, okay, at the end of the day. And the fact that she says that she still loves Diddy makes me absolutely think that she was complicit. Because love him for what? This man literally kicked in your door and put welts on your head, okay? So anyway, she testified that she was positively reinforcing Diddy and the hotel nights because she didn't want him to feel rejected and she didn't want him to feel like he was being judged. So I just thought it was all interesting. Now, she says that she profited a little bit from the businesses that Diddy invested in. Okay, she testified that the home that she lives in now is about 5,300 square feet, which is significantly bigger than the 1,400 square foot apartment that she used to live in. So she came up. Is that what you're saying? Okay, then, and this is what Tina Garagos was bringing out. I told you all, from everything Tina was bringing out, it was given gold digger. I'm not saying this lady's a gold digger. I'm just saying that that's what it was sounding like during cross-examination. Okay, so Jane said that she profited a little bit off the businesses, and she said that Combs invested $20,000 into it, okay? Now, she confirmed that Diddy never asked her for a portion of the proceeds. Now, of course, Teeny pointed out the fact that Jane's businesses, or she pointed to Jane's businesses and asked her about previous testimony that she wasn't able to do anything during the years that she was in the relationship with Diddy. Because that's what she said. I couldn't do anything. I turned down offers. I missed out on opportunities because it was all about him. And so basically, if he was just giving you $10,000 a month, and that's not a lot of money to me, especially if you're laying up with 3 or 4 men at a night, you know, on different nights and doing all these hours worth of freak-offs and debauchery and all this stuff, $10,000 is nothing, okay? So she should have taken those opportunities that were offered, as far as I'm concerned, instead of fooling with Diddy. So anyway, she says, I probably would have been a bit more successful in the time frame, but that's neither here nor there, she says. Now, also, we heard the voice messages that her and Diddy exchanged on November the 22nd of 2021, when they were discussing seeing each other. Now, Diddy said that she could set something up, and said the last vision that we had involved two of the entertainers that they frequently use, and that was Don and Sly. Okay, I think I said before Cabral and Antone, but no, it was Don and Sly. Okay, so anyway, Jane sent back a voice message saying that she thought that he wanted to save that situation as a grand finale. Okay, saying that once he finished his album, and she basically said she was trying to make excuses to get out of this thing that he's encouraging her to set up. Now she's saying that she really was just telling him that I thought you were trying to save it for the grand finale because she really didn't want to do it. Now that may be true. I really can't say, because at the end of the day, there were text messages where she said she was with it. So I don't know. Now, at the end of the day, a lot of times it seemed like she did want to do them. And especially if you're calling this specific guy Cabral, because she said that she liked him or whatever, she had a rapport with him or whatever, and she's calling this guy, they called him ATL because that's where he was from. Okay, so she says, I thought on a quick one, she says, I thought on a quick one, I thought on a quick 1 to 2 day, I'm sorry, I can't read my own notes that I sent myself. Okay, I thought on a quick 1 to 2 day trip that you just wanted to see me, but you wanted Don and Sly there. You wanted them there and wanted to have a moment with them at that time. Okay, hotel vibes, she says. So now when we saw the text messages that had been shown on direct examination, or when we heard them rather, the messages which Jane expresses frustration that Diddy is pressuring her to have these hotel nights, but is at the same time with another woman who's posting their quality time that he's spending with her on social media. As she gets upset about this. And in one text, Jane references that Combs taught that he bought the other woman a Chanel bag. That's when she snapped. Because Teeny said, were you mad because you didn't get that Chanel bag? That's when she went in. So it became a tense exchange between the defense attorney, Teeny Garagos, and Jane, when she said that she didn't garner much from the relationship, that it bothered her that the other women got nice gifts and all sorts of excursions from Diddy, okay, who she said didn't give her the same treatment, even though she gave in and had sex with strangers, all for him. Now, Teeny reminded Jane at this point that Diddy gifted her a Van Cleef necklace and a Bottega Veneta bag, okay, and she confirmed that he in fact had. And then she quips Garagos with, I'm sure you have one. Okay, trying to be smart, like I'm telling y'all, she was going in. Okay, I want you all to pay attention at the end of the day. So, do you all think this woman is a victim? What do you all think? Like I told you, Teeny kept asking her about her age, and as you heard, Sylvia, who was sitting right here, basically also said something about her being 35 years old. She's clearly old enough to know better and to be able to make sound decisions. And again, people treat you the way you allow them to. If you don't demand respect, then you likely won't get respect. And if you let somebody, pimp you out or whatever, and you're okay doing that once, then they'll think that they have all of the basis to do it again and again and again, okay? And then also, let's not forget how she was talking about Diddy giving her the X and stuff, but Teeny pointed out during Cross that didn't you in fact take ecstasy, not just when you were doing the hotel nights, you took it at other times. And she in fact said that she liked taking it, okay? She didn't say she liked the ketamine or any of that, but she did say she liked taking the ecstasy. So was she just taking it because Diddy was talking her into it, or was she taking it because she liked the way it made her feel? Because that's what it really sounded like, in my opinion. Okay, so now with that all been said, okay, so now there was a part where they were sending these messages back and forth, and she said that, Diddy, or she was sensing rejection. Diddy said, we don't have to go crazy for the rest of the night. Okay, we don't have to go crazy. And she's like, well, I'll believe it whenever I see it, but it's okay with me. Now, she said she'll believe it when she sees it, but then she ended with, but it's okay with me, okay? And then Diddy said, what do you mean? When she said that, he's like, what do you mean? She says, I love when we have that freedom with each other. It's a whole nother level of eroticism. Does that sound like somebody who doesn't want to do it? Now, I'm not saying she wanted to do it. I'm just asking you all how it sounds, because it sounds like she absolutely wanted to do it. Because he's telling her we don't have to, and then she's saying, I love when we have that freedom with each other. It's a whole nother level of eroticism. And then Diddy says, you don't think I can go. You don't think I can do it, huh? When he's telling her he doesn't have to do it, he's like, you don't think I can do it, huh? And she says, no, I just know you like it. And I just want some sexy romance with my baby. Then Diddy says, no, I'm gonna make you beg for the debauchery. He says, you see how I've been holding back, baby? I don't need no help. I'll F your head up, is what he says. Then she says, you definitely intoxicate me mentally. Honey, were they drunk in love like Beyonce? Because that's what it's given. She said he intoxicates her mentally. Let's have a, she says, hold on. She says, let's have a night of debauchery. Okay, now, and then she sends him a text saying, miss you, baby. Love you. Love having the intensity with you. Wish you were here with me. And then she sent him a selfie and said, wish you were here and we could play our videos on TV and enjoy each other all night. And then Diddy texts back and says, tomorrow night. Okay, she says, just bored. I'm just bored. I don't see anything on the blogs though. Now, why was she worried about what was on the blogs? Well, that's because her and Diddy were trying to keep their romance or their debauchery on the low, okay? Because remember, she said that Diddy knew her child's father and they don't get along, so they didn't want him knowing. And then also, because remember, her friend dated him for 2 years. So they were trying to keep all this under wraps. So they were constantly checking the blogs to see if anybody had gotten a whiff of them out publicly together, or when they're going on their little hideaways or whatever, if anybody had seen them at the hotels or anything like that. So she says there's nothing on the blogs. So then Diddy texts her saying that you're sweet. Now he was telling her this because she supposedly bought some teddy bears for his daughters. Okay? And then Diddy texts her talking about the other night was so sexy. She says, yeah, I can't stop thinking about it. It gets better and better. Everything was hard, sexy, and deep. You light my fire. I'm in love with you, baby. I just want y'all to pay attention. And then she says, thank you so much. You're so sweet. I'm going to wait and open it up tomorrow. Now, she's talking about a Christmas gift that Diddy supposedly bought her. She's all excited because he bought her this gift. And she's talking about she's going to open it tomorrow. I'm going to tell you like this. She talked about why she agreed to the sexual encounters with other men. She said because she thought it was the only way to see Diddy. Now, here's the thing. That may have been true. Maybe that was the only way he would spend time with her. Maybe that was the only time she got to see him or whatever. But the thing is, if you're 35 years old and this person only has time for you when you're doing something freaky that he's asking you to do that you really claim you don't want to do, that should definitely be a big red flag, a huge red flag, and that should be your cue to run, not walk in the opposite direction. Okay? One Love said, is this a court case or a XXX film? It's both, beloved, okay? I kid you not. It literally is both. Now, in some of the messages, Diddy told Jane to be explicit, okay? Prompting her to send explicit messages about the sex acts that with Diddy and the entertainer. Now, Teenie and Jane read some of those messages in the courtroom, and like I told you all, I almost blushed, as dark as I am, when she asked her, Teenie that is, asked Jane Doe to read some of those text messages aloud in court. So Jane testified that she spoke in graphic, sexual language, knowing that that's what Diddy wanted. And after exchanging a series of fantasy messages about the entertainers, Diddy asked Jane what she wanted to do. So she wrote back to him saying that she wanted to spend time with her favorite person, meaning Diddy. And then Diddy asked her if she wanted him to stop by with an entertainer. She says that she said yes to the encounter with the entertainer at her home because it was the only way to see Diddy. girl, if the only way to see Diddy is to be doing stuff like that, please cut him off, okay? Now, really, to me, it makes no sense that she continuously says this, that that's the only way to spend time with him, and then she's seeing him doing other stuff with this other woman, which, by the way, we learned in court was Young Miami because they said her name, okay? They had not said it before, even though that's who we all pretty much thought it was anyway, because we follow her on social media. But at the end of the day, you know, you're jealous of Young Miami and seeing him doing stuff with her publicly when he's not doing anything with you publicly. You're seeing him whining and dining her and just showing her the world and taking her on these excursions and all that, as she called it, and then buying her Chanel bags and then not giving you the time of day as far as you're concerned. But yet, you go back to this man time and time again, even after the supposed beating. Okay, welts upside the head, chokeholds, you name it. But you go back to him. Like, this is all just so crazy. Like, I just really don't get any of it, okay? I just really don't. So, and another thing is, she said another little slick comment during cross-examination when they asked her, did she get something? I can't remember what it was. They asked her, did she get something from him? And she said she got trauma. Well, you know, she likely did get trauma, but sometimes aren't we in fact the cause of our own trauma when we continuously let people treat us in a traumatizing way, when we continue to let people use and abuse us, when we know that we should know better and that we should just walk away and leave it alone, no matter how much it hurts, because it's gonna hurt worse in the long run if you stick around. And the fact that she sits up there and says that she still loves this man is absolutely crazy to me. They definitely need to bring back the witness, the expert witness, Dr. Dawn Hughes, because I would love to hear what she has to say about this. Okay, so anyway, so then they read more and more messages. I mean, I don't know how many messages they went through, but it was just for days they've been reading these messages. Okay, so there was one in which Diddy asked her, you can't handle anymore? And she basically testified that he was trying to encourage her to have sex with somebody else. And she said it was the undertone, that he didn't just come out and say it, but it was the undertone, that is, I can't handle anymore, kind of teasing or taunting me to have one of these nights. Okay, that's basically what she said. He wanted those hotel nights, and he was nonstop about it. That's all he kept pestering her about. And if she didn't want to do it, she said he'd seem agitated, irritated, like he was just pressed. Now, she never said that he went upside her head about it or anything like that. Because remember, the only time she mentions him going upside her head and putting paws on her is when she called him a PDF file. Okay? And let's not forget that she did put hands on him first. Now, I'm not saying that's an excuse because no man should put their hands on a woman, but it seems to me like she was trying to provoke him to anger. Like, you call the man a PDF file and then you knock, and it was so crazy. Now, I wish I could have been a gnat on the wall to see it, because she described it as Diddy was bent over, tying his shoes, and she just, bam, knocked his head into a marble table. Where'd they do that at? Can you imagine how angry he was? And we all know Diddy has a violent, nefarious, ferocious temper, okay? No wonder she had to run and hide for 2 hours. No wonder he was mad enough to kick down the darn door, okay? She wanted bruises to have receipts. You think so? I don't know, but it just seems like she provoked him because she claims that she would see how irritated he could get about things, okay? And then this is all after, mind you, this is after she saw that video of him attacking Cassie. Now, you know, that's a good point. Did she want him to put bruises on her? Because she literally did this to him, put hands on him, after she saw him whipping up on Cassie on that video. Now, after seeing that, the last thing I would have done is try to piss him off. But she knocked his head to a marble table, okay, and then called him a PDF file. I think she may have been trying to purposely provoke him. I don't know. But the big question for me is, why is he still paying for her attorney's fees till this day? And they asked her about that in court today. Teeny asked her, you know, isn't Mr. Combs still paying for your attorney's fees? And she says, yes. She says, has he ever tried to interrupt, you know, or do anything, you know, to interfere with you and your attorney? And she said, no. And as far as I know, he's also still paying her house note. Okay, so what do you all think about that? Maybe that's why she hasn't sued him in civil court like everybody else has, because he's still paying her bills. Now, was he paying her bills to keep her from talking? Because Tini asked her. She said, he's still paying all of these things for you, even though you're testifying against him. And then she said, I'm testifying against him? And then Tini says, well, you're testifying for the prosecution. Okay, or you're a witness for the prosecution. So she acts as if she was perplexed and she didn't realize that her testimony is absolutely going against him. Okay, so it's just all a whole lot. Okay? Don't ever sleep on somebody desperate, says Global Friends Center. Okay? Mel said she's still saying that she loves him. Yes. Marie says to keep her quiet. Right, but it didn't work because she's still talking. And even like I said, even as she's up there on the stand testifying, her lawyer was in court. Okay, her lawyer comes to court with her. And so he's still paying for that lawyer. I wonder how much it cost. I'm pretty sure it's not cheap. And then paying her house note as well. If he was trying to do this to keep her silent, honey, that's not working. Okay? And they said that she spoke to the feds about 24 times. Now, I was really shocked to hear that all of these people visited the feds and went in and did interviews and spoke to them so many times. They must really be coaching these people, okay? Because that has come out in court also about them coaching them on the testimony and about them telling them how to answer questions during cross-examination. Now, of course, I understand that the prosecution wants to prepare their witnesses, but how far do you go with preparing your witnesses? Okay, are you telling them what to say, or are you just letting them say what they want organically, but just telling them how to say it? Okay, those are the questions that I would like to know about. Okay, Global says if Diddy cut her off and baby dad cut her off, she's screwed. So she's not gonna diss Diddy. Good point. Queen, you didn't say she was a gold digger, but she ain't messing with a broke ninja. Okay, Angela says they're telling them exactly what to say. You know, that's what I was thinking, Angela. I'm not saying they are, but it did cross my mind, okay? She's gonna keep talking about love to get those bills paid. It's all real juicy. So listen, tomorrow court starts at 1 o'clock. Tomorrow court's gonna be starting at 1 o'clock, okay? It's gonna go from 1 to 5. So I'll be here. I'm going to try to get here as early as possible because even though we're starting at 1, this line's going to be long like it was this morning because everybody wants to hear the cross-examination. Everybody wants to know what's going to come out, if they're going to be able to debunk her story or find any inconsistencies in it. And, you know, just like the young lady that was sitting over here that spoke on camera, when she was saying that she was disappointed that the defense didn't go in on her or, you know, didn't pull more out of her. Well, I didn't really expect them to because it's the same situation that I told you all about with Cassie, that they would get a woman to speak to these people. They're letting off confetti across the street because that building over there is for weddings, okay? It's not gunshots like we thought last time. But so basically, you know, it looks better, in my opinion, for them to have a woman during the cross-examination of these women that are victims. And also, you don't want to go in so hard on them because you don't want to be victim bashing and you don't want to be, you know, being too harsh on them. You want to show a little empathy, but at the same time, get your point across and ask them the tough questions and also hold them accountable. Okay, these are not children. These are grown people that are adults. They have their right minds, okay? They're not mentally incompetent. They're in their right frames of mind. And the fact of the matter is, people sometimes make dumb decisions, okay? Sometimes people make bad choices, and you have to own that, okay? No matter what somebody does to you, if you allow them to do it, and if you open the door and let them in and give them the keys to do it, then you have to accept and own that accountability. But she wasn't taking any accountability, in my opinion. She just kept saying, well, I was doing it because my partner wanted me to. Well, I was doing it because that's what he asked me to do. But girl, what about you? What you want to do? Why are you so worried about Diddy, okay? Diddy is not the end-all, be-all. You should be more concerned about what you want. But, you know, like I told you guys on yesterday, in my opinion, Women were doing these things for Diddy because of who Diddy was, because of his power and his money, okay, and his wealth and all of that. Because at the end of the day, if that was a guy that worked for FedEx or UPS or McDonald's, okay, or AT&T, you really think these women would be putting up with this stuff? You really think they'd be sitting up here laying up with 3 and 4 men at a time, doing hours-long freak-offs or hotel nights? You think they'd be doing it? You really think that they will let this man go upside their head? Now, mind you, some people will. Some women do, because all types of men abuse women, but that's not what I'm talking about here. These are women who specifically date men who have money and power. And at the end of the day, sometimes there are nefarious things that come along with that. Okay? Sometimes when you're dating somebody in a certain pay grade, there's going to be all types of things that you're going to have to put up with. Some people will not put up with it. They don't care how much money there is at stake. But some people will absolutely do so because they want to live a certain type of lifestyle. And here's the thing. The fact that she said that Diddy would hold the house over her head, that he would say he wouldn't pay the mortgage. So if that's your incentive to stay because you want him to pay your mortgage, then I'm sorry. At the end of the day, you stayed because you wanted to. Because you wanted to keep living the way you were living. Because I would have gone and gotten 3 or 4 jobs before I put up with the crap that Diddy was dishing out. And that's just me. Okay? So anyway, with that all being said, Luna says, Queen, you looking beautiful. Bringing the facts. So glad to be back. Thank you, beloved. I'm glad to see you back. Okay, so listen, I love you all to life. I'm up out of here. Listen, I don't think I'm going live tonight. I maybe will, but I'm not really sure because I have some things to do. And then I'm going to be in court all day tomorrow. Well, we're going to start at 1, but I'll be here for at least half the day. And this is draining. Do you guys know that I get up 4 o'clock every morning? Okay, I get up 4 o'clock every morning to get here and then stay here all day long, okay? So I'm gonna be up out of here. Listen, I want to thank all of you who send super chat donations and thank those of you who hit the Cash App. I really appreciate you guys because New York is not cheap, okay? Y'all know I don't ever ask you all for anything. So I appreciate you all for helping to fund this trip, okay? Because I intend to stay here until after the jury deliberates and comes back with a verdict, all right? And this isn't the only one because I'm going to Dwayne Keefe D. Davis's trial too, February of 2026 in Vegas. Okay, so please pay attention, honey. With that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.